on in. Happy Wednesday? It doesn't have to be a Wednesday, but we do the show on a Wednesday. The show comes out every single day, 5 days a week, has been doing that for nearly 17 years. But you can listen to it on a Saturday if you want to. That's cool. So today we're going to talk about change. As Winston Churchill said, change is the only constant in life. It's always coming. Most people don't like change. I do. I tend to like to change constantly. Not big stuff, not scary stuff, but, I'm okay with it. And we'll talk about that today and how you can make change in your life pretty easily. It takes 3 things to do it. And I've got all 3 for you before the end of this show, okay? It is a daily boost from motivationtomove.com, the positive boost you need every single day with your nearly famous semi-professional motivational disc jockey dude. It's me. It's kind of weird when you think about this thing. I don't know where you grew up and what you did when you were a kid. I still feel like I'm a kid and still feel like I'm dreaming like a kid, and I'm not slowing down. I just keep having more fun. Sometimes it's hard, to create fun in your life. You have to work at it. It's kind of weird. You got to work hard to have fun, right? But when I started out, if you ask anybody who knew me as a high schooler, I was just a disc jockey guy. And that's what I did. I did some pretty cool stuff, but I got into it and it wasn't my thing. I was having a good time. I was good at it, making some money, traveling the country, had a U-Haul every couple of years. And yet it didn't really satisfy me that much. And so I came back and I settled in and I said, what am I going to do? And around the time I was about 43, 42 years old in that area, I came up with this kind of work. I said, I'm kind of interested. How do I do it? And I just started taking those steps bit by bit, little by little. A lot of you have been along for the ride, but that is the case with everybody. It's kind of a second chapter. This would be my second chapter of my life, I would imagine. The first chapter was just an on-air production guy. And then this chapter, I don't know what the third chapter will hold. We'll see what happens. But no matter where you are, you're coming from someplace and you're going someplace else. And it's going to change. And we're going to talk about that today. Did I say who I was? I don't know. My name is Scott Smith, founder, chief motivating officer here at motivationtomove.com. We're on Apple Podcast. We're on Spotify, just about every other place. Leave a review if you can. And it's nice. Be nice. There's no room for the other stuff anymore. And we're on YouTube. So just go to dailyboostpodcast.com/YouTube. You'll find me over there, slowly evolving the channel a little bit. Before I get on with the show, let me just say thank you for some patience. Things are very interesting and different here in the studio, different than they've been for 17 years. And we're changing every single week to get it more comfortable. It's just one of them things. It's like if I went to Australia and had to drive on the wrong side of the road, I wouldn't know how to do it for a couple of days. But we're getting there. So thanks for your patience. I appreciate it. So how do we change things? Again, change is the only constant you're going to find. If you embrace change, it's awesome. Everything changes a little bit all the time. I get out of bed in the morning and, sometimes the cat pukes, sometimes he doesn't. Wait a second. Does cat puke have a place in this podcast? Evidently it does. The world changed. I had a perfect morning plan. I got up ready to do my most important thing, and suddenly there's cat puke. And how do I know? Because if you have a cat, you know because you step in it, and it's cold when you do, and it's always directly in the path between you and the bathroom, right? Now, things change, right? Tomorrow he won't do it, but I'll walk around that spot anyway, just in case he did. Change, it's weird. But we can make any change you want in your life, whether it be, a career change, a personal change, whatever it happens to be. But there's about 3 steps required to do it, so let's talk about that. Now, the first thing, by the way, is that is the acceptance that everything is simple until we overcomplicate it. Will you accept that with me? Everything is simple until I overcomplicate it. Now, how much stuff is you overcomplicating right now? Now, I'm going to give you a break right now, too, because sometimes when you're new at something, it feels like overcomplication. You just don't know the path. I had a call this week with a gentleman who's mentoring me, and it's funny because I was all confused about something. I forgot what it was. And he said, I'll give you a pass. You haven't seen this part of the thing we're working on, so you didn't know it was there. So that's the way, of course. Now, to remember that in real time, that you don't quite know the whole path yet, is sometimes hard to do. But it is very difficult to accept that we're going to try to overcomplicate it and fix it. And my God, Dr. Google is going to do that to you. If you let Google get in the way, or YouTube get in the way sometimes, you're just going to be running around in circles. So simplify the best you can. That's first step. And what are the 3 steps? Okay. You've heard this before. Work with the outcome in mind. Let me make that a little bit different. So if we know what we're going to, and we just cut the chase and just focus directly on this is what we want it to be, we're likely to get it. Let me make it a little bit different. This is Scott logic, just the way I think, and I've lived this my whole life, and I've found this to be true, that if I don't know exactly what the outcome is going to be, I really can't focus on it. And if I've never done it before, I really don't know what the outcome is going to be. Don't know what it looks like, don't know what it feels like. I just know what I've imagined or what somebody's told me or what I saw in the movies, right? That's all I really truly know. So what I've learned is that, okay, we get the most realistic outcome in our mind that we can think of, thing that we understand, we can touch, we feel, we know we can do if we do it. That's the first step. And as we stepped in the road and we start going down that road toward what we're going to get, now we expand that a little bit. The outcome will change. It is very difficult to see the end of the road in mind until it's like going to the mountains. I go from here to North Carolina and I drive up the road. It's not cool. It's cool. It's cool. You go up I-95 and I-26 and it's just normal. And then here come the mountains. Oh my God, hang on. Mountain driving for a guy that's lived in Florida his whole life. It's not an easy thing. So try to see the outcome the best you can with as much clarity as you possibly can. And then understand that's going to scale. It's going to change. You're going to go closer to it. You're going to get a more refined picture and just keep refining it. That's step one. Step number two, you need a roadmap. Or like we like to say, a yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. So even if you don't know the whole path to where you're going, you know some of the path. Start here. Follow the breadcrumbs, as I like to say. This whole YouTube studio I'm building right now came from following breadcrumbs. It took a long time to talk to the right people with the right experience and the right equipment list and all that stuff to actually begin to get it right. But I just kept following the breadcrumbs. Wasted a ton of money and a ton of time, but we finally got there. So that's what you do. You begin to create a roadmap, a yellow brick road. A lot of what I do with my business is we create that. I don't sell a whole lot of courses or anything, but we do provide a lot of guidance. Do this first, come back, then do this, come back, do this, come that. We'll get you there. To the extent that you understand what your steps are going to be, you will succeed. So like losing weight, pretty simple stuff, right? It's the easiest thing in the world. Honestly, it's not. I've been a fat guy before. I get it. But when you think about it, losing weight is like you actually get to do less of what you were doing before. You don't have to spend as much money. You don't have to eat as much. You don't have to go out as much. You actually get to do less, which is part of the problem we'll talk about later this week too, about doing nothing, getting what you want. But you know how to do that. So you start to make those adjustments. Go to the gym. You know what to do with that too. We slowly build on it, some kind of roadmap. So what is the final thing that will get you to where you go? We kind of know the outcome in mind, right? We're going to not overcomplicate things, keep them as simple as we possibly can. And that's hard to do. I get it. We live inside ourselves, don't we? Consistent, disciplined action. I cannot tell you how many folks will profess their dreams and tell me what their outcome's going to be and where they're going to go. They've got it all figured out. And I'll talk to them in another week or 2 or 3 or 4 and say, how you doing? And the answer is, I got busy at work. We had to take some vacation. Kids were sick. I got COVID. But I'm still going to do it. All right. We'll check in with you in another month and I'll say, how you doing? It's that consistent, disciplined, dedicated action, that much, tiny bit, every single day that's going to get you there. Old school message, isn't it? Old school message. I don't do new school. Old school works just fine. New school, when it becomes a little more seasoned, then I do it. Not until then. I am not taking arrows in my back, okay? Not going to do it. Let somebody else figure it out, then we'll do what works. How's that? That's what the show's all about. Tomorrow, what are we going to do? How about success from doing nothing at all? It's the art of growing a beard and getting success bit by bit. We'll do that tomorrow. Friday's show is about breaking bad habits, the easiest possible way for you to break a bad habit. It's always a popular show, and it's an answer that is so simple. If you hear it, you'll change your life, I promise. Can you visit me at Facebook? Go to dailyboostpodcast.com/Facebook. Come on in and say hi. We've got a bunch of cool folks over there. It's growing every single day. And of course, if you haven't seen the pictures of me, videos, go to YouTube. dailyboostpodcast.com/YouTube. Subscribe, ring the bell, all that kind of stuff. I'll see you tomorrow.